I'm not here to hold your hand. I'm not going to coddle you, but I'm going to be raw and real. And if you have big goals and live a real life just like me, welcome. I want to start off by saying something that will probably come off very strange as someone who has ran countless half marathons and multiple full marathons. I was never really an athlete. I definitely didn't start working out until my late 20s. And being that I started so late, I felt like being an athlete wasn't something that you just became. It was something that you were born with or that you grew up being. So a little bit of my history is that I started lifting when I was in my early 20s, probably about 23 years old. And after lifting for quite some time, I learned about Zumba. So I did Zumba for probably about a year and a half, and I realized that I wanted to do something more with fitness. My husband and I got into CrossFit soon after. And before having kids, CrossFit was basically our entire life. We did 2 classes a day. We would train together in the morning and then separately in the afternoons. It was just something we did all the time. Eventually, our first kid was born, and we continued doing CrossFit after that for quite some time, probably about 4 years after having our first son. He was in the gym with us every single day. There's no doubt that we were going to continue doing CrossFit even after having my first son. But even in what seemed to be my fittest era, I still did not feel like an athlete. I didn't consider myself an athlete. It actually wasn't until I started working out from home when we moved away from our original CrossFit gym and really had to take matters into my own hands, because working out at home on your own is a lot more difficult than showing up to a CrossFit box every day with the help of so many other motivated people in the same room and just having the same goals as you. Definitely makes working out a lot easier. So when we moved to this house and I was on my own, it was a lot harder. And now, mind you, I had 2 kids. But then running changed everything. And when I say everything, I mean I felt the fittest I have ever felt in my life while suffering. I think signing up for my first half marathon just 4 months postpartum really had a major role to play in how much running changed my life. So now I'm looking at being the fittest I've ever been at 37 years old with 2 kids. Somewhere along the way, running stopped being something that I did for exercise and started to become something that I wanted to get better at. So I decided to really take running seriously. I didn't want it to just be something that I took on in my early 30s and gave up on it once I ran my first half marathon or signed up for my first marathon and it was a one and done for me. That wasn't going to be my story. My goals started out very small. Finish my first half marathon. Just finish. Just get to the finish line. It didn't matter how long it took me. I just wanted to say that I accomplished my first half marathon. And that quickly turned into, well, let's do a challenge weekend at Walt Disney World. So I took on the 2-course challenge in Wine and Dine that following season, which was actually in the same year. So I did my very first half marathon was the Princess Weekend half marathon, and that takes place in February. New season starts in October. Back then it was November. And I did my very first challenge after completing what felt like the hardest thing I was ever going to do in my life. After finishing that first half marathon, just 4 months postpartum, I thought that was probably never going to happen again. And then registration opened up and I felt very different about it. I realized that I finished. I did it. So what's next? Are we just going to end on a high note, if you want to call it that? Because I was in excruciating pain after my first half marathon. I hit the usual 7-mile wall and it was, let's just say, less than ideal. So I started to set big goals. I started to set major goals in my normal life. After completing my first challenge, I went on to do a few more half marathons, solo half marathons, all taking place in Disney. I still didn't consider myself a real runner until I did my first full marathon. Now, I know that can get a lot of heat because you do not need to complete a full marathon in order to be considered a runner. If you are out there putting in the miles, putting in the work, then you are also a runner. But for me, I had bigger goals that I wanted to accomplish, things that I wanted to consistently excel at. So I signed up for my first full marathon along with my husband for January of 2024. And after completing the first full marathon, it was like I couldn't get enough. I wanted more. I wanted to do better, be better. So every year after that, up until today, I have made my goal bigger and bigger. I have reached for a sub 5-hour marathon. Come marathon 2 in 2025, I actually started a much more intense training plan. Previously, I used the Run Disney time on your feet method, and it worked. I crossed the finish line, but it wasn't exactly the time that I wanted. So in 2025, I decided to pick up a plan that was a little more intense, kept me a little more focused on a PR pace. So now, fast forward to 2026, I took on the hardest plan imaginable. I started the PFITS plan, and if you followed my 18-week vlog last year, then you know how intense those miles were. I never completed the miles, although I followed his structured plan. I never actually completed the miles that he recommended for that plan, the 1855. This year, we have much bigger goals. And after completing PFITS last year, all I could think was, holy shit, I'm actually fit. This may actually be something I can work towards. And that's the biggest part I didn't expect. I am now 37 years old with 2 small children. That requires me to be the best mom I can be, wife, employee, because I'm still a full-time 9-to-5er, and have a life all outside of marathon training. So now that it's dawned on me that I'm 37 and fitter than I have ever been in my entire life, and setting even bigger goals every single year, I have decided to not only take on my next full marathon, but the Dopey Challenge as well. So with that being said, I'm still a mom now, and I don't have the unlimited time to train and still be a mom, a wife, work, and have life outside of working out. So can I do it? Can I accomplish something as big as the Dopey Challenge at Walt Disney World? And that's what I'm most excited about. I think this will be the most exciting chapter. I'm about to start another 18-week marathon block, and not just any marathon block, but a dopey marathon block. And I'm curious to see when I take the most fittest version of myself and see how much further I can push her. And I think there are a lot of women who have big goals, but also have a lot going on in their life just like me. We're not professional athletes, we have jobs, we have laundry, we have sports schedules to get to, but that doesn't mean that we don't want to see what we're capable of. And that's what I want this channel to be. Big goals, real life. So if that resonates with you or sounds like something you've been thinking about for a very long time, I hope you stick around because I'm so excited to start this 18-week journey with you.